Hello and welcome to Customer Experience Magazine. My name's David Dungay. We're here at Excel for Contact Expo in London. I'm with Finbar Begley from Cavell Group. How are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm fantastic.
Great. Well, Finbar, you've been around the room, you've spoken to all the vendors. I'm interested in a few specific things. Let's start with analytics. Analytics was the sort of front and center conversation over the last couple of years. AI has kind of swamped that a little bit. But obviously part of the same conversation. I want to talk about what are you seeing that's different this year around analytics? Where are you seeing companies make the biggest sort of headway with their sort of approach to analytics right now?
So people are really investing heavily in either real-time or post-call. It really depends on the use case. But genuinely, just let's get that data out of all of these conversations that are happening. And what's interesting is that it's still an area where you see a lot of investment by the vendors, but there's still a lot of smaller companies as well that are carving out their niches. I mean, just walking around the hall, you've got an Irish company called Score Bunny who are rating calls. You've got another Irish company called Edge Tier who are doing like analytics on calls to flag when urgent problems have come up in the contact center that are going to cost you money, and spam your supervisor being like, this voucher is not working, you need to fix it immediately. So like we're seeing people like properly putting analytics into deployment, and then just the complexity of the analytics ramping up. And we don't want to talk about AI too much because I'm sure we'll talk to death about it at any show like this, but you do have to ask the question, where are we getting the data that we need to do any of these AI-based decision making? We actually have to put in a robust system that pulls data out of customer service interactions and serves it up, and then takes it. I think the thing that's interesting for me especially is takes it out of CX and asks the question, where else can we use this data? Because once we have it available, it's not just let's automate a piece of customer service. It's what does my sales team need to know about it? What does my marketing team need to know about it? Where else can I take it?
That's been one of the fundamental things that's come out of the show for me, and it's how companies need to take maybe a bit more of a holistic look across their companies, whereas a lot of departments are still operating in silo. But that doesn't work in an AI world where you might need to call on data from elsewhere, and so we're seeing this holistic approach. I mean, is that what you're kind of seeing for your research and your conversations too?
It can't work any other way. So we're in a situation where, as you say, traditionally people have been buying siloed solutions, and now people are buying bots and things like that, but you might buy 5 different ones for 5 different types of the business when really you should be buying 2 or 3. And we're in a sort of weird situation where you'll go and talk to a large brand, and I have, like, say, in travel, and they'll admit to you that the website is still owned by the marketing department, the customer service owns the CX, obviously, and then the sales team owns like what deals go out to the customer portal once they've logged in. And you're like, okay, and do the systems talk? They don't, right? So if someone talks to the bot on the website or files in a web form, that doesn't go to customer service, it goes to marketing. And then if they call customer service later, they don't know that interaction has happened. It doesn't make any sense, especially if you're thinking about building this way to this analytics forward digital future we want to get to. How do we have it in a world where there are silos in the business? But it's terrifying a lot of people. That you go and talk to enterprises, the person who runs the website is a marketing manager, the person who runs the CX is a CX manager. Do you want one person with responsibility for both of those? The person who's currently got that job doesn't, right? I mean,
it's an interesting question. Well, let's talk about customer interactions for a moment. We were talking off camera around how far are we away from that digital world you're kind of, we feel like we're going towards. And that is, a lot of it is around agentic AI, having their own personalized AI as well, particularly when it comes to interacting with brands. Will that be us? Will that be a sort of personalized agent? How quickly is this world coming upon us?
So it is interesting. If you kind of put your futurist hat on, which as an analyst sometimes I have to do, and you kind of look into where we could end up, you can see a world where big brands are going to automate a lot of their self-service, daily queries. Calls are going to happen when stuff goes really wrong, or just when they think you would like to talk to them, right? Because if we free up a lot of people by automating a lot of stuff, we can make decisions about when it's good to put someone on the phone instead of we have to because something's gone wrong. But there is that other side of it, which is starting to come up in discussions now, which is when do people start getting their own personal AI, and we move from ChatGPT, which has memory in conversations, but not really good memory across the entire interaction, to ChatGPT knows exactly who I am, has all my login details, and then can talk to my bank or something on my behalf, which is kind of what people think. There are echoes of it now, like you can buy things through ChatGPT via eBay and things like that, but we're quite a long way from realizing that, because the brands have to give up control. And this is where things get really interesting if you're thinking in terms of future. We're talking about a world where the brands have to give up control of a bit of the customer service journey because that's what their customers demand, because the customer is dealing with a voice agent every day and just wants their personal chatbot to take this burden from them. But that demand has to be in the customer before any brand is going to start building for it, I think. So when I got asked this question last week at a big customer event, they were like, well, how long is it until we all have our own little AI assistant and I don't have to call customer service ever again? I was like, well, how long is a piece of string? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Someone has to build that demand and then companies will build it. But we're a long way from that, I think.
And also, the demands are going to be completely different depending on the customer as well. Everyone's going to have this utopia personalized experience that they want, whether that's through an agent themselves. Yeah. So, it's a bit of a complex world we've got to get to right now.
Yes, but I think the key thing that we're thinking about is we're talking about if consumers go on market to AI assistants, which they're not. Like, you could ignore the narrative of everyone is using ChatGPT. It's not true. Lots of people are, and lots of people are using it on every day. I am, you probably are, but there's lots of people who aren't. But as that continues to grow, and lots of people are, it will just make more sense that if I'm complaining to ChatGPT about, not to single out Vodafone, I love Vodafone, but my Vodafone contract as an example, why is the next natural step is for ChatGPT to say, let me go and talk to Vodafone about the thing you've just complained to me about and fix it for you. And you can tell that that's where OpenAI and their ilk would love to go. But that's going to be a huge shift, and it requires those companies to give up that control or build their systems that can interact with other companies. And there's loads of other, this is when I said, because when I was asked about it by quite a senior person at a consumer organization who works in retail, I said, but you also then have to guarantee that that's an agent speaking legally on behalf of the customer, and it doesn't have the customer's data that it stole or the phone that they stole, and you can't do any of the biometrics that you do on someone's voice and their location. Like, we've got so many things that need to work out before that even happens. But it's fascinating, which is why I'm talking about it and not, just talking about AI and automated customer journeys, which I've done all day, I could keep doing. It is interesting to me, the next step on that journey.
Finbar, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you for having that sort of very insightful conversation with me and talking about the future. Thank you.
In 2 or 3 years' time, we'll know more about when this happens, and I can either be like, I told you so, or I'll be like, no, it didn't. It didn't work out. Pivot quickly. Do it now.
Fantastic. Thank you for watching me, David Dungay, on Customer Experience Magazine. Thanks for watching.